Hello, welcome to another edition of From the Bars to the Bricks, Prison Ministries Incorporated. I am your favorite felon, Kev, doing a little live stream today. I want to talk about officer assaults that were just insane. So, before I go any further, please like, subscribe, and let me know how what you want to see. Give me some comments, some feedback. But anyway, without further ado, we're going to get into Hutch Correctional Facility in the Max in 2006. So, 2006 in Hutch was a crazy year anyway. The beginning of the year, right about this time, we had a big old riot. Do another video on that one day. But anyway, uh, the facility was in quite unrest, and there was an officer. The first incident I'm talking about is homeboy Mosca. He had just got out of the hole, maybe 6 8 weeks prior to that. He had an altercation the with an officer, and it ended up in the hole. Got out. He is in the chow hall, and when you go into the chow hall, you kind of like follow in line like school kids, and you go through and uh, as you're in line is how you sit down at these tables. Well, in order to avoid having to sit at the wrong person, you try to get with people. Sometimes you like lollygag. You get some extra drink and some water. Stand there for a second, look around, look dumb, like you're lost. Whatever stall tactics. But so homie Mosca's standing there and he's waiting till this table fills up so he can go to the next table. And I'm sitting there eating like the table before the one he's filled up. And he's like standing in between like the table I'm at and the table that he wants to sit at. And he's at the salad bar. Well, this cop is always a cocky son of a gun. Oh, big mouth, smart, slick tongue, just walk around with his hands at his belt, just mean mugging and talking crap. And well, this particular day, McClendon is the officer's name. I don't know if he's still employed at Hutch anymore or not, but don't really care. He uh, he was real disrespectful to my homie, and he went up to him. He's like, "Hey, you spit," you know, SPIC. I don't even want to say the word. I don't even like spell the word, but you know, go have a seat. Man, Mosca just bink. Cop went down. Mosca grabbed hold of the railing on the salad bar, and with them heavy Georgia Giants just stomped that cop's head. Now here's how, even among cops, sometimes they don't appreciate somebody a smart mouth causing a lot of problems unnecessarily. So they kind of sat back and watched for a minute until this cop's head was being smashed in so bad they pretty much had to intervene so they could prevent a murder, literally. It was pretty bad. I mean, it just, yeah. But anyway, so the, um, anyway, he just stomped this dude had to have reconstructive surgery across his jaw, up his face, and he was whooped. He was off work forever. He had to have surgery and all that, and then he had to be cleared to come back. And well, when he got cleared to come back in off of light duty, where he's able to come into a cell house, they still put him in D3 in the honor dorm. Now remember, or I guess I should say, maybe not remember, but just know that usually an officer with disrespect or something like that, like to that magnitude, does not work behind the walls. They try to keep them out with guys got a little more to lose, little less of a risk of someone getting another officer hurt or themselves or other inmates or whatever. But yeah, it was a pretty bad deal. And then the other incident was Man, I don't think it was 2 months after that, there was a set of twins that worked there, and not the good kind. There were these 2, and their names start with an M, and I can't recall their last name, but they were like identical twins. One dude was cool as can be, the other identical twin, not so much. He was the polar opposite. Well, the cool twin is standing up on the top of D2 at the top of the steps in the rotunda as guys are coming out for lunch. We're going back in as they're coming out. Each cell house don't go at the same time. It's in shifts. And I was in D3, which you enter in through D1 and then go down the stairs to the basement to D3. I know, sounds weird. D1's in the middle, D2's on top, D3's on the bottom. It's DOC. If it makes sense, it has nothing to do with the KDOC. But anyway, I hear this commotion and dude's like flipping out. And the next thing I see is this cop fly and just hit the ground. Bow, 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 bounce like a basketball. And everything just went kind of silent. And crazy dude was like, everybody's like getting away from me, like, whoa. And I guess it turned out it was over. The cool twin was just trying to do his job, but at the same time be a little bit cool about him, like, hey man, I want to get your ID where they can see it. He didn't care when you write him up, but some other guards might. And over that, the guy flipped out, lost his stuff. But that was horrible. We were locked down for a while over that one. And it was just, I've seen a few other staff and stuff, but that was the main. It's probably one of the worst ones. And at El Dorado, we had one of the incidents I did the video on the before about over the burrito. Um, that was a bad one. There was an incident on the yard uh, between some Mexican group or Latin people, Hispanic, um, and they were into a brawl in the yard. And this black suit runs up, and he's trying to get them all, stop, stop. And they're not listening. They're not paying no attention. Well, he actually tased one of them. The dude stands up, rips the tasers out, and just goes to whooping on Carol. Just tears him up. And yeah, it was kind of, I mean, and he was another one of them officers that got no mercy because he went out of his way to create problems with everybody else. So there was not all times will an officer be attacked that it's condoned by the prison, by the inmates. You know what I mean? Uh, there's one guard in El Dorado in particular. I think she's gone now. She's retired or whatever. But Miss Samuels, she had the most reason out of all the officers of all of KDOC to hate us the most and treat us the worst. Her husband was killed by Scott Cheevers in a drug raid. He was a sheriff from Greenwood County. So her husband was killed by a criminal. You would think she would be the one to hate us. No, no, she actually treated us with a lot of respect. Now, she'd whoop your ass. She would do that. She's a violent, but not playful, but she hit hard. Playful, my ass. She'd make you double over. But anyway, uh, some dude, when she was working RDU, and some dude got smart with her and punched her in the nose. That dude couldn't walk the yard. They had to put him in lockdown and get him out of El Dorado. He could not stay there. Inmates and staff alike, were like, this dude, they wanted this dude. If he would have come out on our yard, he wouldn't have walked our yard long. He might not even walked off because, there's still, even in prison and a guard, there's still that level of respect if it's a woman. But sometimes some of these guards they don't get that respect. But Sammy had the utmost respect. Guys, inmates, staff, whatever, everybody would fight for Sammy. Not that she couldn't kind of handle her own, but you don't put your hands on a woman, especially a guard that's there to purely help you in any way she can. She would never write people up unfairly. She would never mess with people. I never once in 7.5 years saw this woman mess with somebody, just picking with somebody, it didn't happen. So that gained a little bit of issues with that. Um, but that's pretty much the main like officer assaults, the bad ones. Oh, that's not. So 2000, I want to say 8, maybe 9. I was in, they had me in East F, which is now L Cell House on the east side. Uh, the unit team manager there was just a hateful individual. We're all pieces of crap. None of us could ever be any good. We're criminals. Um, it just, we're all just bad people. So he was of that, and he would try to block you in everything you did. If you wanted to get a minimum wage job, he'd try to block you because he didn't want you to have it. He just thought you're bad people and couldn't change. Well, this Asian cat, when he got tired of it, and he decided to show Sapien one day that I guess that he didn't want to change. And since you want me to change, I'm going to show you I can't change and show you what happens when I don't. Sapien came in the pod, dude went over the cleaning cart, grabbed a mop, beat the dog crap out of Sapien with that thing, stabbed him with it and everything else. And it was stabbed him with some pencils. He had some pencils in his hand. He stabbed him with some pencils, um, beat him pretty good. And now, of course, the dude got beat up by the officers, bounced off everything down the halls, and I'm sure got beat up worse when he got towards the hole. But um, Sapien didn't come back for a while. When he came back, he was still kind of the same way. And then he went to a Supermax cell house. He ended up having a heart attack, some other health issues, and I guess he really came back different. I talked to him once. I was actually in RDU, going back through again. Um, and I saw him, and he was a completely different person towards me than he was before, and which is nice to see. It sucks it takes a health scare like that to change somebody, but it was nice to see they did change. Anyway, that's pretty much the worst officer assaults I saw, when in prison. So thank you guys. Like, subscribe, comment. Want to hear what you got to say. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you for your time and for listening, watching, however you are receiving this message. Anyway, I'm Kev, and I'm out. Y'all have